What's up YouTube? Welcome back to my reaction channel and welcome back to another reaction video with Keyambri. So today we're going to be reacting to the final 27 hours of Juice World. Now, I wasn't the biggest Juice World fan. The only song that I knew by Juice World at the time that he passed was the song that he had with NBA Youngboy, Bandit. But I really didn't know too much about Juice World. I just remember when he passed, they had said that I guess he was about to board a plane or he had just got off of the plane, a private jet, and he had took a bunch of pills and I guess overdosed because he was about to get raided by the feds. Something to that effect, but let's go ahead and get into this reaction video.
Okay, 9 minutes inside the Atlantic airport. They got a guy seizuring in here.
This would be the call that unfortunately marked the end of Juice WRLD's life. Just hours prior, he was seen on Instagram joking around and having fun with his entourage in a private jet en route to Chicago. However, whilst on board, the relaxed environment would transform into a state of panic after Juice WRLD also learned that, according to the original leaked case incident report, members of the Gang Investigation Federal Task Force were waiting for them to land at the airport so they could conduct a cannabis/weapons investigation. How did law enforcement know that Juice WRLD would be carrying illegal contraband upon landing? Did it have something to do with his girlfriend's meth trafficking charge from 2 years prior, or the death of another Chicago rapper from only 6 days beforehand? Was his death a result of trying to avoid jail time upon landing, or simply an
Yeah, that's kind of that's what Twitter ran with, is that he kind of took a bunch of pills because he found out he was about to get raided by the FBI and he wanted to, not get caught with the pills, so he just took them and then he ended up having a seizure and ODing. But I don't know.
unexpected overdose at the most coincidental time possible? Some conspiracy theories posit that Juice WRLD isn't even dead at all, some of which being supported by a surprising amount of evidence. Regardless,
Bro, I hate people who do conspiracy theories. Like, please give it a rest, y'all. This is like a real person, you know what I'm saying? Or this was a real person, he has a family. Like, just stop it.
one thing was for certain, as outlined in the original case incident report. At the time of his death, Juice WRLD aka Jared Higgins was a heavy Percocet user and, quote, had a drug problem. He tried lean for the first time in the 6th grade after listening to Future's 2011 mixtape Dirty Sprite 1, with Juice stating, "What do you expect if I'm a young dude that really loves music, really looks up to these artists? I didn't have a man giving me no type of guidance. My father wasn't in my life like that. So listening to this grown-ass man rap about lean, I'm like, well, that sounds really appealing."
You always had issues with drugs even before you started to get famous and rich?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was something that I was into early, low-key, due to music. The second song I've ever heard by Future, Dirty Sprite, off the first Dirty Sprite mixtape, had me wanting to sip lean at like 11, 12.
Now, this is crazy. The fact that you just randomly wanted to try pills and lean because you heard your favorite rapper rapping about it, like, that's the problem with these new generation of kids. Like y'all not strong-minded at all. Like, y'all don't know how to be yourselves. Y'all not strong-minded. So you mean to tell me if you see your favorite rapper rapping about shooting heroin in his arm and smoking crack, you will pick up a crack pipe? I mean, this generation is just sad. Like, they're like, what? I'm thinking, you know what I'm saying, a lot of y'all start doing that type of stuff because y'all be like with y'all friends and it be around y'all and y'all just be like, okay, let me try it. You know what I'm saying? But to hear that, oh, you just heard it in a song and wanted to try it, man.
12 years old, bro.
2 to 3 years
Generation
later,
is
Juice
doomed.
found himself getting involved with harder substances.
I ran into some Percocets my freshman year, 14, 15 years old, 13, 14.
However, despite showing his knowledge about how bad these drugs were, Juice was unable to stop his addiction.
Your mind could be telling you, hell no. But your body is dependent. So it's like, it could tear you apart.
His music often
And it's crazy because now that I think about it, I remember when I was in high school, Zannies, the yellow school buses, and I guess the Green Hawks is what they called the Zans. Those was the new things that was going around. That was when those was like at all time high. That was before Percocets. That was like when everybody was doing Zans. Like, we had people like outside the school selling Zans, selling weed. I ain't never in my life wanted to experiment with none of that stuff. I've never wanted to pop pills, never wanted to take a step further and try ecstasy, powder, nothing. like nothing. I really had a drug addict in my family. Like my auntie was a real drug addict, a real heroin addict. When I seen her, I never in life wanted to do drugs. Like, so that's just crazy, like how y'all just so easily influenced into taking stuff and y'all don't even know where it come from. Y'all don't even know where the stuff come from. Just because somebody hands you a pill and tell you it's this, y'all just taking it.
Reference needing to take these substances as a coping mechanism for what his girlfriend explained to be an anxious, overactive, fast-paced mind. Being so famous with access to such a large pool of money also seemed to influence Juice WRLD's drug problem.
Do you feel like you fell into that trap though, as you started to get money and stuff, you just started to do more and more drugs and kind of let it get bad?
I would say, I guess somewhat.
While in a different Instagram live stream, he'd state that money did almost nothing to fix the problems that had caused his drug addiction in the
Money would never fix a drug addiction problem because y'all got to think about it like this. For the average person doesn't have enough money to keep going back to the plug and buying. You know what I'm saying? So they not getting as high as they want to get. But when you rich and you're an addict, you can buy as much drugs as you want to get. As many pills, as many lean, as much drugs as you want, you can literally buy it. So money is never gonna help you. Having money is never gonna help you when you have an actual addiction, because you can buy as much as you want. There's no stopping, there's no taking a break. Like somebody will literally have to take you and put you in a program or something like that to like kind of make you stop. But like other than that, it's no stopping.
first place.
I deal with anxiety and depression just because you got money. Money is the answer to certain problems, but it is not the answer to those type of problems.
In the months leading up to his death, Juice's drug problem appeared to have gotten worse.
We calculated it up, and it was like over 20 pills a day he was doing.
20 pills a day. 20 pills a day. 20 pills. Do y'all know how much 20 pills a day is? I don't even have no words. That sounds outrageous. 20 pills a day? Nah, that sounds crazy.
Juice's recording engineer Max Lord would state in a GQ interview, "We were all starting to be on his case a lot more about the amount of pills he was taking. He was hiding and compartmentalizing how much he was doing with different people. He'd come into the studio room and act like he hasn't gotten high at all that day and do a certain amount in there before I tell him, bro, no, chill. Then he was going upstairs and hanging out with the guys and doing the same thing." Max Lord would then go on to state, "I and a couple other people had come to him in tears like, we're worried about you and we're scared we're going to lose you if you keep up these habits and we have to do something," which led to Juice WRLD agreeing to attend rehab, which was scheduled to begin on the 22nd of December 2019, 2 weeks after he would board the flight that would ultimately lead to his death. Jay was supposed to go to rehab that month. "We tried so hard to do positive things every day like ride dirt bikes or paintball to keep busy and not do pills, but every night once he hit the studio, that was it. He loved it." With all this in mind, it's hardly surprising to hear that when Juice WRLD and his 8-person entourage would pull up to the plane, they were carrying an otherworldly amount of illegal narcotics. The group had shown up to the chartered private jet over 3 hours late, according to FlightAware's plane tracker. However, during the Into the Abyss Juice WRLD HBO show, his cousin Sean Bailey would state that they were actually 6 hours late before going on to mention that the pilot was in a foul mood as a result of the delay. The advantage of chartering a private jet is that once everyone is inside the plane, you can take off instantly. There's no waiting around as is the case with a commercial flight. However, after the group boarded the plane located in Van Nuys, California, they sat around for approximately 15 minutes without leaving, stating that something felt off.
The pilot was acting weird, the stewardess lady was acting weird, and I just felt something off. I got up to like, yo, we should leave. You know what I mean? I got up and walked to the door and then like
Crazy.
to see if the cars were still there, and I'm like, because I was gonna be like, yo, let's just go off this plane right now. Like,
I'm not gonna lie, you gotta follow your gut feeling.
something's not right.
The details are foggy, but this seems to have been the time during which the pilot of the flight notified law enforcement in Chicago about the contraband on board. This move has since proven
It's also basically that answers the question I was thinking in my head. Like, why did the police just want to randomly, you know what I'm saying? Why did the FBI or the police want to randomly come bother him or bother his plane? There's plenty of famous people using private jets. Why y'all targeting him directly? The motherfucking pilot is a fucking snitch, bruh. Fucking snitch.
To be incredibly controversial online, with rappers such as Boosie as well as Juice's girlfriend claiming that the pilot's snitching had resulted in Juice's eventual death.
I've lost two of the most important people in my life because of snitches.
However, others such as this lawyer on Twitter stated the pilot was trafficking drugs and guns involuntarily and wanted to go home to his family. This is in no way his fault, children.
Man, shut the fuck up. What are you talking about? Had he never woulda opened up his mouth, he woulda went home to his family that night with no problems. Like, what are y'all saying?
There are multiple Reddit posts arguing about whether or not the pilot is in the wrong, so it's probably best approached by drawing your own conclusion.
And just to be fair, I'm not saying the pilot is in the wrong. I'm just saying let's keep it 100. If you fly PJs and you fly for a lot of famous people, you've seen stuff on planes that you haven't seen before that's illegal. If I'm not mistaken, joining the Mile High Club on the plane is some form of that gotta be illegal. So it's like you've seen illegal activity on a plane before. Like, you're just reporting it because it's a rapper. You know what I'm saying? It's a black African American rapper. That's the reason why you went and ran to the police. Like, you're not running to the police because, oh my God, this is just so wrong. What if this happens and I don't make it home to my family? Bitch, you the one who gotta fly the plane. Ain't nobody about to do nothing to you. Ain't nobody about to do nothing to you. You the one who gotta fly the plane to get us home safe. What? Make it make sense.
However, all of this is still assuming that the pilot was the one who notified law enforcement in the first place. There's no confirmation of this in the official police report. Other theories posit the law enforcement planned on searching Juice's jet, as only 5 days prior, the FBI had arrived in Chicago to investigate a gang-related murder of another rapper going by the name of Shooter Shells. Shooter Shells had released a diss track just prior to his death, aimed at a rival gang distantly related to Juice WRLD's record label. So it is possible that the searching of Juice's jet had been a result of suspected gang activity, considering the official police report does mention that the search was for cannabis/weapons. Regardless of the motive behind the search, one thing was for sure. The agents weren't leaving Chicago airport.
Man, I don't care who snitched. I don't care what the reason is that they needed to search his plane, bro. It's looking like they was targeting him. Like, cause like I said, celebrities or famous people, they fly private all the time, and they do all type of illegal stuff on that plane, whether it's having drugs, having guns, having sex, prostituting, tricking, whatever it is, they do a bunch of illegal stuff on the planes. Like, y'all are targeting like one person. Like, y'all are targeting one person out of so many people. That's kind of not fair. Because if that's the case, then we need to always be searching all of these celebrities' planes. If that's the case, right? Yeah. Because I don't know. That's just how I think. But let's get back to it.
Searched in its entirety, which would be relayed to those on the plane as they flew toward Chicago.
Everything was normal and everything was fine. And once we started getting closer to Chicago and we started getting service on our phones, our security guard, Hen, texted the group chat and was basically like, cops are here and they have a dog.
This would be the point at which Juice WRLD took an unspecified but assumed high quantity of Percocet pills. The motive for this, according to the popular mainstream media narrative, was so Juice could avoid drug charges upon landing. And while this idea makes sense as a surface level theory, many prominent individuals believe it to be incorrect and fabricated to make the story more interesting when reported. For example, Chris Long, Juice's videographer, who had been a part of the entourage on the final plane ride, took to Twitter stating, "Jay did not swallow a bunch of pills because the police were at the airport. He gave no Fs about them being there. He could have flushed them down the toilet if he cared. Jay was just hooked bad. The amount he took daily was absurd, and he hid how much he took from mostly everyone. Everyone around him tried really hard to get him to slow down. When he agreed to rehab, it was because he wanted to lower his tolerance. He didn't want to stop."
Oh, Juice knew the cops were coming, so took a handful of pills. And like, that's not what happened. I'm like, Juice did drugs, yes. You know what I mean? But he didn't try to hide them, or he knew he wasn't going to get in trouble. He had people around him that are going to take care of
other individuals.
So he just So if that's not true, you mean to tell me he just willingly just threw back about 10 Percocets? Or how many was it? Did they say? Did they say how many he took when he thought he was about to get raided by the police? Cause if y'all saying that's not true, that's not the reason why he just took them all like that, and he took them out, that just sounds suicidal to me then. Cause you gotta know you're not gonna survive this. You take a handful of Percocets at one time, like you gotta know you're borderline. You know what I'm saying? Gonna go into cardiac arrest.
Further disclaims such as Adam22 from the No Jumper podcast, who had been close with Juice WRLD in the lead up to his death.
I wonder to what extent that story is maybe different. It seems kind of so silly to just take a bunch of pills when it's like, if you were really getting busted with a bunch of illegal stuff, a handful of perks is not going to make a dent in the case.
Perhaps Juice
Yeah,
took a high
that's
dosage
true.
to alleviate his anxiety, knowing that he was probably going to be arrested after landing. Alternatively, maybe he knew he was headed to jail for the night as a result of the other stuff on board and was taking an extra high dosage to avoid withdrawal later. Whatever the motive happened to be, the pills had been taken and there was no going back. After landing in Chicago at 1:30 a.m., the group would embark from the plane before taking a seat in the empty private jet terminal. According to the official case incident report, a police canine dog then entered lobby, began search, and immediately indicated a positive alert on a suitcase on the first cart. The dog then left and re-entered lobby for search of second cart. Canine immediately alerted on a suitcase on the second cart. Upon opening the first bag, ROs discovered a large amount of vacuum-sealed green leafy substance, suspected cannabis, and when they say large amount, they mean large amount. Juice WRLD and his entourage had packed a total of 70 pounds of cannabis into their suit.
Yeah, is this actual footage? See, this is this what I mean. Like when you rich, you can do as much as you want to do. See, I ain't got this much money. This is hella weed. The picture is blurred and I can't even see it all the way, but I can tell you this is pounds and pounds and pounds and pounds of weed. These niggas is never running out of weed. Like what? This is what I meant. When you rich and you got the money, you could do as much as you want to do. Can't nobody tell you nothing.
Cases in preparation for Juice's birthday, which had been scheduled for the night after he would die.
This weekend, we're going to Chicago to celebrate his birthday. It was just his birthday the other day, but we're going this weekend, Saturday. We're flying out there. We're gonna have a birthday party with his mom and family and friends and stuff like that from out there. So
Damn, bro.
However, the sheer
Wow, that's crazy. He was literally coming home to celebrate his birthday with his family. That's just crazy how life works.
amount of substances held by the group has spawned a list of alternate theories about why they'd been transporting such a high quantity in their luggage. One theory, which to be fair sounds a little far-fetched, is that the drugs were for Juice WRLD's girlfriend to sell after they had arrived in Chicago, the theory having come about after a user named Squirt Reynolds would tweet, Ali Lottie, Juice WRLD's girlfriend before he passed, is a high-profile drug dealer and may have contributed to him passing away.
Bro, y'all love dragging women into something that don't have nothing to do with them. So now since we can't point the finger at nobody other than the person who took the drugs himself, we gonna just point the finger at his girlfriend. It's her fault. Like, what?
A thread which contained a document showing that Ali had apparently been to court in 2017 for the importation of methamphetamine. Ali would respond to the tweet by stating, "Never seen methem ever, and I'm pretty sure methamphetamine is Adderalls. Ah ha ha, again. This paperwork has nothing to do with me. I'm sorry, ah ha ha ha. I don't even know the lawyer, ah ha. Bah ha ha, I don't even know bro, ah ha ha. This has nothing to do with me. Look it up, look into it, ha 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 ha. I can't help you, I ain't losing sleep over it, ah ha ha ha." The problem with this theory is that when you read the legal documents a little more carefully, it states the defendant is hereby committed to the custody of the United States Bureau of Prisons to be imprisoned for a term of 30 months. If Ali Lottie had been convicted to a 2.5-year sentence in August 2017, how was she posting photos of herself outside in late 2017 when she was supposed to be in prison? A 2.5-year prison sentence beginning in August 2017 would also imply that Ali Lottie's entire relationship with Juice WRLD took place while she was behind bars, which clearly wasn't the case. Under the assumption that this meth trafficking charge charge was for another Alicia Leon, therefore being bogus and irrelevant. Let's go back to the day on which Juice WRLD would die. Whilst waiting in the empty private jet terminal as the police were uncovering the concealed drugs, during the search, Jared A. Higgins, aka Juice WRLD, began to have a medical emergency. It appeared that Higgins was suffering from a seizure. Arrows asked of Higgins if
Oh, so it was a seizure. I thought he had a heart attack.
he suffered from any medical issues and if he had ingested any drugs. Leon related that Higgins did not have any medical conditions and that Higgins takes Percocet and has a drug problem. As a result, police would administer 2 shots of Narcan to stop the overdose. However, the rest of the group would go on to state that it didn't seem like the police cared about the fact that Juice was having a seizure.
It seemed like all the cops there just didn't give a shit. Like they sat there very nonchalantly and like Allie's screaming to call 911.
Following the realization that Juice WRLD was overdosing, he'd be rushed to the Advocate Christ Medical Center before being pronounced dead at 3:14 a.m., with the autopsy ruling the cause and manner of death to be oxycodone and codeine toxicity/accident. And while this would tragically mark the end of Juice WRLD's life, it would begin a string of conspiracy theories which put forward the idea that Juice WRLD wasn't really dead.
I may sound crazy, but please listen up.
Bro, I hate people like this. I hate people like this. Like, this is a real situation, and this is very serious. Like, stop with the conspiracy theories, bro.
I don't believe Juice WRLD's dead. Here's why.
Those who believe the conspiracy reference tweets such as this one from 2017, which read, "My goal is to get overly famous, shine for a couple years, then fake my death." In the song Legends, Juice would write, "What's the 27 club? We ain't making it past 21," which was certainly interesting considering Juice had died only 6 days after his 21st birthday. This was accompanied by him mentioning that he felt like John Lennon in the song All Girls Are the Same, which many consider to be further evidence for the conspiracy since they both died on the same day of the year, December 8th. In addition to this, an artist by the name of Clever, who had collaborated with Juice WRLD in the past, would release an album titled Crazy in early 2021, with the first letter of each song on the album spelling out the sentence, "Juice WRLD is alive." So, if he wasn't dead, where had he gone? Well, the main theory is that Juice WRLD's currently living in the Bahamas. This theory began after he posted a photo in October 2019 on Instagram of a private jet with the numbers N999EH. By tracking the plane, it can be seen that instead of flying from LA to Chicago on the date of Juice's death, it instead flew to Nassau in the Bahamas. However, the problem with this conspiracy is that the N999EH jet was more than likely a rental jet owned by a charter company, meaning that it could have been anyone flying to the Bahamas on the day that Juice died. It's probably important not to give these conspiracy theories too much attention, as the ludicrousy of them could probably be seen as disrespectful to those who had to witness Juice's unfortunate passing, and the emotion shared by those in his inner circle is almost certain evidence for his tragic death at 3:14 a.m. on the 8th of December 2019.
Alright, well, rest in peace to Juice WRLD. That is very sad, and it was very tragic the way that he passed. But if I gotta tell y'all anything, stay away from those designer drugs. I feel like nowadays y'all are kind of like, y'all are forgetting that drugs are drugs. Just because you call them designer drugs, and just because it's not, you don't shoot it into your arm, or you don't snort it up your nose, or you don't smoke it, it doesn't make it any less of a drug than like heroin, crack, or coke, powder, whatever. Like, drugs are drugs, period. And they're very addicting, and you can die if you do, you know what I'm saying, if you overdo it. So y'all stay away from the drugs, kids. But yeah, we're gonna see y'all in the next reaction video.